It's Thursday, time for the Vixens. Welcome, everyone, to Quarantine Thursday, Phase 2. Actually, I don't know what phase our state is in. What phase are we in? Does anyone know?
Yeah, like a billion.
Yeah, we're phase 2. I think we'll be in phase 3.
Some things have started opening. Has anybody gone out to eat yet? Dinner? Yeah?
I work at a restaurant.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
So, you know how, like, people are always like, yeah, I don't really know anyone who's gotten the Rona. So, Carafa and I know some people who've gotten the Rona. We found out.
Jackson's mom got Rona.
Yeah.
And Jackson's, like, quarantining.
And Mel's sister.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
That was like a month ago now, though.
Yeah. So, welcome, fans and friends. Before we do the recap from the last episode, because as the young kids say, it's been a minute.
That minute.
Let's see. Who do we have here? My B, DoD Spec Ops, Flex, 07 DeSmith, Dependu Gaming. Cater Schatzman is one of our new friends and followers. I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but Mark Gump is here. Good to have my patrons clocking in. Heat Champ is here. A lot of people on watching. There's my patron, Healed by Wounds. So let's recap. You guys had assembled an army thanks to a combination of absolute devotion to goblin motherhood by Abby, and the belief that Tetra was the chosen one to lead the goblins out of their hiding holes to reclaim the mountain that was once long ago, many hundreds of years ago, once theirs. And your goblin friends led you out through a secret way so that you didn't have to climb over the mountain to the White Peak. You guys started going up. You had some encounters with giants. There was some deadliness that nearly happened. But after defeating some foes, you noticed that Duke Sharsane and Cena were both missing. Sorshe went on a scout and went ahead and discovered Duke Sharsane floating down from the sky. And when he arrived, she greeted him, asked him where he had been, slapped him, if I'm not mistaken. And then Duke Sharsane said that he had been to the top of the mountain and that he saw them. And that is where we left off. So, Sorshe, you and the Duke are about 50 yards ahead and also up from the rest of the group. So
I'm gonna ask him what did you say to her, and do we actually have to make the trek all the way up to the mountain anymore?
He said, I did not speak to her, but I went to the top. There is a ancient tower on top of the peaks, covered in snow. It is where she is. I saw her in the tower, but then I came down to find you.
Go back up and go talk to her and ask her help us.
He's like, I do not know if she wants to see me.
Really?
It is, how you say, complicated.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
He seems a little bit shy. He's like, perhaps it would be better for us to make a plan.
What if I wrote her a letter? I mean, I won't write her one because I have really bad charisma, but someone else writes her a letter.
I could write one.
And then you give it to her.
It is possible. I should think that we talk with the others first, because there are other problems. You see, when I went up, I saw more giants, but these were very dangerous giants. Do you know what is frost giant?
No, I'm not familiar.
It is very powerful giant. I see 2 of them when I was on top. They were guarding the tower.
How many more?
2 of frost giants, but frost giant just 1 is, I think, very strong.
Oh, yeah, I get that. But how many more like giants did you see? Was it just them?
I saw only those 2, but I think maybe is more, because those 2, they were walking like a guard around in circle just below tower.
Okay. Well,
I think it's good for us to make strategy and talk about what can do.
all right. So let's wait for them to catch up with us.
So,
How many of them are there?
how many goblins?
No. How many of the giants?
Oh, so all right. So you guys continue, and eventually you meet up, like maybe like a half an hour later. You get to this spot, and you see Sorshe and Duke Sharsane, but you still don't see Cena.
Okay.
And you guys all kind of come up. The goblins wait with Abby. So you guys kind of get there and you circle up, and the Duke basically recaps what he told Sorshe, that he went up using his magic. He flew up to the top, like through the fog, the ring of fog that like obscures your vision from seeing the top. And that when he got to the top, it was snow covered, and there were 2 frost giants like guarding, like walking around in circles around this ancient tower that's on the top. And that he said he saw them in the tower, like through a window. He also tells you that frost giants are very powerful. That much more so than the hill giants that you fought. And like walking around, and he is not sure that you would have the ability to fight them.
Are there just a couple of them, or are there like a whole gaggle of them?
He said he only saw 2 of them guarding, but there could be more.
Could we use pass without trace?
Could you? That might be the move.
It's Woe's.
So the question is, so Sorshe had an idea. So she explains her idea about maybe writing a letter, but maybe both of your ideas could work. The question is like, do you guys all want to try to go up there with a goblin army?
No.
Do you want to try to deliver a letter? Do you want to try, like, so strategize amongst yourselves first to figure out like what the best move would be.
I'm thinking, who has Beth, or you have charisma, right?
Yeah, I can write the letter.
Anybody else? Okay, so this is what I'm
Cena does, but she's not with us.
Yeah. This is what I'm thinking. You write the letter, and then somebody comes with me, maybe you, maybe somebody else, and we do pass without a trace and try to deliver the letter.
Just one other person?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could, because I'm pretty fast and like good at like climbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit clunky like with my armor, so I feel like either I could do it because I think I have a pretty good athletics. It's just my armor. Maybe I could take off my armor, but if we got in trouble, that'd be a problem.
So let me clarify for you guys, because this might help you come up with your strategy. So if you were to cast Pass Without Trace and you're concentrating on it, it will last up to an hour. Which, once you get up there is more than enough time. It gives you and your group, basically, you're not invisible, but it gives you a +10 bonus to stealth. And you can't be tracked except by magical means. It takes away any tracks. So in the snow, that's almost better than invisibility, because it basically means you could walk through the snow and there'd be no tracks.
Yeah.
And here's the best part. It affects you and any of your friends that stay within 30 feet of you. So like all of you guys and the Duke could definitely go as long as you stay in a tight group. There's no way you could fit a goblin army within that space.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would just feel weird about leaving the goblins behind.
Well, Abby, you can stay with them.
Up there with
Maybe the goblin mother can watch the goblins, and then.
But also, if we could just go up there with Pass Without a Trace, and we could just go and talk to her and then fight our way back instead of fighting our way up.
I don't want to fight giants again. I don't think it's worth the risk. I don't think we'll be able to do it.
Did you say find or fight?
Fight.
Fight.
We have to down them.
We're going to have to fight them if we go up and just give her the letter and then, like...
Not if we have Pass Without Trace. We can get up there, get back, and leave, and they would never know.
It would take longer than an hour. Like, Bill said guys to go and find me when it took me, like...
I think it would be fine.
For you guys to get up to the top, so here's the scoop. For you guys to get up to the top fast, you would have to have the means to fly up to the top. For you guys to, or you trek up to like the fog level, and then once you're above the fog level, just the small group of you could do Pass Without Trace and get up there.
That was the goal. That was what I had in mind.
Cut some more time off.
Right.
What would we have enough Pass Without Trace to get back down the mountain without having to fight the giants?
Yes.
It depends on how long your interaction with them.
So we just don't dilly-dally. We write her the letter. That's why we write her the letter, is so that we can just give it to her and bop. Is that a smoothie?
Yeah.
Oh my God, stop. All right. So so basically you guys have to decide, like, are you gonna go up as far as the fog level, like with the whole group, and then try to go from there?
Yeah, fog level, then Pass Without a Trace, then get up there, get the letter, get back down to pass fog level, and then
Abby and
that
Goblin Army stay back.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay. So as you guys start the trek, you're going up the mountain. You make a series of kind of like belaying sites where the best climbers go up, kind of like you did before. You set the spikes, you set the pulleys, and then you help each other up. The goblins all kind of follow up last. You spend the rest of the day climbing up to like right below the fog level. So like you're like 50 feet below the fog level, and you find kind of like a good spot where there's enough ledges and stuff for the goblins and everybody else to kind of set up their camp there. Now you're at about evening, so like in a couple hours it's going to be dark. So what do you decide to do? Are you going to write a letter ahead of time? Or are you guys going to start with just your small group to climb up and see if you can get above the fog level and do your Pass Without Trace?
Let's write ahead of time.
Write the letter before we get up there.
Okay.
Before we start Pass Without Trace.
Okay,
so who's writing it, and what is it? What's the gist of what it's going to say?
Yeah, wait, what are we trying to get? Why are we seeing her again? Like, what's the point?
The breath of Vem is one of the sacred special god crystals that will work for the element of air.
We're trying to find the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, basically. For that artifact that Mantra has been carrying, this is the air stone, basically. And you were basically asking Vem, who is a goddess, if you can have this stone.
Okay, so we got to be like real convincing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you have to think about why you need it, and you have to think about.
Yeah, wait, why do we need it?
Well, so from what you know, Mantra and Olin and Cademan and this group of adventurers had decided to joined forces with the gentleman Finoop. And the gentleman Finoop explained that he is part of a group of people who want to use the device to get themselves back home to their original home, which is another continent called Arakazine.
And I can't just boat there.
No.
The only way that they can open up a portal to Arakazine is using the artifact, and the things that fuel the artifact are the 4 special elemental crystals and this black orb. Now, Olin has the black orb, Mantra has the artifact. And you guys are trying to track down the other elemental crystals, and the Breath of Vem is the one that you're hoping to get from Vem.
Are we going to have to fight Olin for the orb back?
No, because
No,
Olin's,
we're all on the same
Olin's on
team.
your side.
Where is Olin?
As far as you know, the last time you heard from Olin, he had the black orb, and he was going to meet up with Caedmon and Allure and a few other people to try to find out where they would even start to look for the Earth Crystal. Because that's one that nobody's been able to find or even, had any inkling of where it is.
Okay.
They were basically trying to find out where all the stones were and then split up forces and go find them.
So, do we still have paper from when we couldn't communicate with the Duke?
Yes.
Can we use that?
Yes.
Okay. I will write it because I think I have one of the stronger charismas. What should I make the gist of it be? Like,
Well, that's what you guys need to decide.
I think establishing a tone, because in my brain, I feel like Vem isn't, like, she's not going to be mean. So I feel like as long as we're not like, yeah, we need this, give it to us. So, like, I feel like the tone should be like, please.
She probably wants to go home too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like the tone should be like, please, this is a really important, this like could change the lives of a lot of people. You would be contributing to something very helpful. Yeah, something like that. That should be like roughly the tone of it, I feel like.
Okay. So I kind of write that down in as a convincing tone as possible. And I kind of like explain a little bit of my backstory and like what Olin is trying to do and like what we're trying to do together and like prove that it's for a good cause. It's not like we're gonna be like,
yeah,
universe.
You're not going to abuse the power?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be like Thanos, or Thanos, whatever.
Okay. All right, so you spend a little bit of time while you guys are encamping. Meanwhile, Abby, the goblins, they seem to be very happy with the progress that you've made, and especially with the defeat of those hill giants. But they are also concerned about what lies above. And so they ask you if you are going to use your powers to defeat the giants above.
Can I be like, yeah, but not if necessary? Like if it's not necessary, then no.
You could also just bamboozle them. Just say yeah. Like,
yeah, of course.
They're not gonna know the
I
difference.
got you. Yeah, I got you. Don't even worry about it.
But you don't
right now we got to rest a bit.
You don't want to betray their trust.
So the goblins seem encouraged by this, and they start making like little camps and stuff, and they set up guard duty, and like some of them are like watching the perimeters and just kind of like marching around looking, making sure that everything's safe. And there's like an enclave of goblins with like weapons and bows and stuff who are like protecting you, and they have you like in a circle. And they build like a little goblin camp made out of like goat skin blankets, and like they clear some rocks away for you, and they make like a small fire just to like keep warm. And you guys notice at this higher elevation, as it gets darker, it's definitely coming in handy that you have blankets and bedrolls because it's cold. So after the letter, you guys basically have all that stuff written, and Duke Sharsane comes up with another idea as well, which is that if you guys have to leave the top of the mountain quickly, he is able to do his Featherfall spell, and as long as there's no more than 5 people, you can hold hands and jump down together, like off the mountain, and he could land you in a safe space.
It's so sick.
So if it's me, Woe, Sorshe, and the Duke?
And the Duke. Yeah.
That.
Okay. So you guys get the letter. It's written. The ink is dried. You tuck it into your pouch, and you get your climbing gear. And you guys begin climbing with the Duke. You get up into the fog. And basically, once you're in the fog layer, now you're like 50 yards above where Tetra and the Goblin camp is. And you basically have about 10 feet of visibility. The fog is very dense. It's also like much colder. Like it's basically 40 degrees. You make your way up, you continue, and by the time you crest, you come out of the fog, you are climbing through like frosty rock. There's no plants grow up here. There's no like you're above the tree line. The rocky, icy, snow-covered terrain kind of lifts above the fog, and you guys kind of come up above it, and the only light at this point now is the moonlight above you. And in the silhouette of the moonlight, hundreds of yards away and slightly up from where you guys are coming up at the top of the White Peak, and now you realize why it's called that, because it's just covered in snow and ice. You see this silhouette of a huge tower. Like it looks like it's built out of, like every stone that it's built out of must have been a large boulder at some point that was carved down to like foundation size stone. Like each stone is like a 4 by 4 foot stone. It's huge. And the tower looks very old. Like it doesn't look anything like any construction that you've seen anywhere in your travels. The stone is this gray, kind of old weathered stone. And clumps of snow and frost kind of cling to it in different places. The tower looks like it's about 5 stories tall. And it's at its widest point, it's about 100 feet across. So it's a pretty big, wide tower. You guys notice as you're kind of waiting there and kind of getting a breath and just, warming up your hands, and, you're kind of shrouded in your blankets thinking about what your next move is. You see a huge humanoid figure about 100 yards off to the side, kind of slowly marching.
Have we cast without a trace yet?
No, not yet, because you haven't moved. You're basically crouching behind like a bunch of boulders and snow. But you see this huge figure. And this is way bigger than the hill giants, like double the height of the hill giant. And this creature is in full armor, and it is carrying an axe that's like the size of a tree over its shoulder. And it's just walking from like the edge, slowly lumbering back towards the tower.
This would be a really good time to cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So as you're like whispering that plan, Duke Sharsane points to the figure and he's like, "That is Frost Giant. Very deadly. Must be careful."
Will do.
So he
I
points.
couldn't tell by the axe.
He points to. You notice that there are like, at different intervals, like kind of going up the tower, there are like little window holes, and you see like flickering lights, like maybe candles or torches from inside. And he points to the, like, what you figure is a window that's about like on the third floor, about halfway up. And he says, "That is where I saw them earlier today."
So like third floorish.
And then he points to like the bottom of the tower. He goes, "You see there is entrance. I think maybe is other guard close to there. So we must be quiet when we go with your spell."
Okay. Are we gonna do any more planning before we actually move? Because I think I'm gonna cast it right before we actually move from our hiding.
Yeah, we don't want to have to waste any time figuring stuff out on it.
So the most direct route from where you are to the main door, there's little places along the way where you could like run to and then hide, and then run to and then hide. Like about every 20 yards, there's like a clump of boulders and snow where you guys could like dip in, wait, and then move to the next spot. So what I'm going to have you do once she casts the spell is we're going to make 3 rolls. Okay. And this is group rolls. So I'm going to take the average of your stealth. I'm going to add the +10 bonus to it and then make 3 of those rolls.
Okay.
And to think you're an English teacher.
I know. Well, see, D&D is what helped me learn math.
Wow.
I can calculate rolls and tips. All right. So,
well, that's not difficult.
So you guys are all close together. And Woe begins weaving the magic and focusing her chi and begins the spell and begins concentrating on it.
Chi is just chai tea, but shorted.
Yeah.
This
okay, ready?
Spell.
So the first roll. 22 total. That's not bad. So you guys move from your spot and you kind of quickly and stealthily move and you get to this first clump of snow and rocks. And it doesn't seem like anyone's seen you or heard you yet.
There's tracks behind us or no?
No. You look behind you and you're like, it's this weird thing because you feel your feet clumping into like a foot of snow each time.
Yeah.
But as you look behind you, the snow like goes and it like reforms into like a perfect white sheet of snow.
Nice.
That's cool.
All right. Second roll. Oh my God, 32. So you make it the second leg to the next area and you're, again, same thing. Like you're moving stealthily, staying down. You get to your second spot. The snow almost instantaneously as you pass through it reforms. Now, when you get to the second spot, you notice that giant that you saw walking, he makes his way back around the tower. And then he gets to the entrance and he stops and you see him like looking into the entrance of the tower. And you notice another giant crouch down because even though the entrance to the tower is like 12 feet tall, it's a huge door. Mm-hmm. The giant is taller than that. So he like has to crouch down and come out and he like looks around and you see them talking for a few minutes.
We're just going to stay planted here.
Okay. So you guys wait. You wait about 5 minutes and you notice the giants split off. One of them goes one way, the other one goes the other way. You guys wait, and you kind of see your opportunity when they're both furthest away from the door, and you make your move. Now, this is the most important roll. 24. Okay, now I have to roll to see if they notice. 14. Okay, you make it. So you guys make your last move. You get to the crest of this massive door. And by the way, it's not a door. It's just an archway. There's literally no doors. It's a 12-foot tall stone archway. You guys get in, and you are inside the tower. And the moment you go through the archway, you feel it's warmer, like as if there was some magical heating system, but like it's instantly comfortable. And now you guys are in the main entrance hall of the tower. It is a huge open space with a support pillar, like about every 20 feet, there's pillars. And the height of the ceiling of this first floor is 20 feet in height. You notice that along the wall of the tower, there's open stone stairs that go up. And you see them kind of go through an opening to what you assume is the second floor. But you don't see anyone inside this main hall. It's just literally an empty big space. You see a couple large stone slabs that have like furs, like you assume bear furs, maybe like polar bear furs, because they're like white.
Mhm.
But it looks like those two stone slabs with the furs are maybe where the giants sleep. But other than that, there's no furniture in this first floor area, no decorations, anything like that. It's pretty much barren.
Okay, so I would say we should split up, but only one of us can take the letter with us, so that would be counterintuitive. So let's
Also, if we split up, Pass Without a Trace is gone.
right.
Like
So
more than 30 feet.
let's go upstairs. You think? Wait, the dude's with us. Ask him where he saw her.
He said third floor,
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily mean she's still there. But do you want to scope out the first floor first, just to see?
I mean, he just.
I say we get to where we think she is and then work our way back.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys go up the stairs. You're sticking together. Pass Without Trace seems to be working. You get up to this second floor and you kind of pop your head up and you see the second floor of the tower. You come out into a hallway that goes the whole length. And there are like walls and then doors scattered along. And this floor, by the way, is like a 12-foot ceiling. So there's no way the giants could fit up here. But it seems like there are 4 rooms on each side of this hallway that go the length. And across the hall, all the way on the other side, you see more stairs going up.
Sorry, was this a second floor?
Yeah, so on the second floor, you guys pop up at the top of the stairs. There's a long hallway, and all the way across are stairs that go up to the third floor. But there are doors on each side, left and right, 4 on each side, with going off down the hall.
I say walk through the hallway and like kind of try to listen to see if there's anybody in the room, trying to peek a little bit, but mostly just get to the stairs so we can go to the floor.
Okay. You guys like kind of listen as you're stealthing through. You don't hear anything coming from any of those rooms. You even actually, you don't hear anything from any of the rooms as you go down the hall. Do you want to like investigate, like open doors and look in, or just keep going?
Can I make like a perception roll?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I made that roll for you.
I mean, do you guys want to open rooms yet on the second floor?
Not on the second floor.
Okay.
Unless like
No,
yeah, no. I don't want to like give our location away to anyone yet.
Okay.
So you guys go across the hall. You don't hear anything. You get to the other side and you see stairs just like the ones that you went up. Stone stairs like built into the tower, and they go up to the third floor. You guys go up those stairs. You peek across and it's a similar setup. The third floor has another long hallway going back in the opposite direction. And you see at the end of that hallway, there's stairs that go up to the fourth floor. But the difference is instead of 4 rooms on each side, there's only 2 doors in the middle of this long hallway. So it would lead you to believe that there's only 2 chambers on the third floor. As you're going down this hallway, you don't hear anything when you get close to those doors, but you smell food. Like you smell like food, like spices and meat and food from one of the doors.
Do we know which one?
Yeah. You got like a 17 on your perception. So you like know that one of those rooms smells like there's food.
Is there any way we could peek in and
Yeah.
see, like just through like the door crack, not opening anything?
So with Pass Without Trace, you still have a bonus, but the stealthiest of you at this point is Woe. So Woe kind of opens the door and peeks in, and what you see is basically like not just a kitchen, but like a combo kitchen dining room. And it's a big room. It's, like 20 by 50. So you see like on one end is this kitchen, and then there's like a serving area, and then there are multiple long tables with benches where people would eat. In the kitchen area, you see what looks like a elven priestess. She's wearing, like she has like long blonde hair. You could obviously see her ears. She's definitely an elf. And you notice that she's wearing this like light sky blue colored robe. And you see that she's like just preparing some food and stuff. But she's the only person in the room, and she doesn't seem to notice you because she's, like 30 feet away, and she's in a kitchen.
Okay.
But you don't see anybody else in this. You don't see anybody else in this room.
Could it be them?
Do we know what Vem? I feel like Vem would have a goddess-like vibe about her. I feel like
you don't catch this vibe. You catch like this looks like the robe she's wearing is pretty similar to, I'm sorry, did I say blue? I meant white. She's wearing like a white robe, but it's pretty similar to like, when you guys have been in cities where there are temples. This is kind of what priestesses of Vem, like this is what the clerics of Vem kind of wear.
So
typically.
She's a Vem nun.
Yeah, that's maybe the impression that you get. But you don't see anybody else in there right now.
Okay. I relay that information to the rest of the group. And I'm like, not this room, boys. Let's try the next one.
Okay, so right across the door, you quietly close the door. And the door right across from the mess hall, basically, the kitchen, you stealthily try to open that door. You look in, and there's another huge room, same size as the mess hall, but this looks like a library. There are floor-to-ceiling books, scrolls. There are multiple long tables that have like scrolls and books on them. And you notice that there are like multiple lanterns around the room. And it looks like a study room / research room / library room. But you notice nobody's in here.
Okay. How many more floors are there to this? I mean, is the third floor the top floor?
No. There's 2 more floors.
I don't know, guys. What do you want to do?
Do you want to go up to the 4th floor?
I mean, I feel like we have to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you go up to the 4th floor. When you get to the top of those stairs, the 4th floor has a 12-foot tall ceiling. It is one massive room, like the main entrance hall, but instead of a 20-foot ceiling for giants, it's like a 12-foot ceiling. But there are columns going across. And this room is very plushly decorated. Like, the first thing you notice is that, like, all of the furniture, this looks like a massive bedroom. Like, there's a 4-poster bed made of white oak. There's like white sash like curtains and like white sheer privacy curtains around the 4-poster bed. All of the furniture, there's like an armoire, there's multiple dressers. You see like women's clothing and like robes everywhere. There's a variety of shoes on shelves, built-in shelves. There's jewelry. There's like there's like very comfortable upholstered like sofas and chairs with like white fur blankets. And you notice there's like a fireplace in up against one wall, and the fire is going, and it seems very warm and inviting. And you see someone from behind, you see someone sitting on like a settee, like a chaise lounge next to the fireplace, like just looking at the fireplace, and you're not sure if they're sleeping or awake. But the person that you see clearly has like long white hair.
Okay, well,
And they seem to be sleeping like under a blanket on a settee, like next to the fire. So they're about 30 feet away from you.
Can we tell that it's a woman?
Yeah, so as you guys get to the top and you're looking, Duke Charsane points and he's like, "That is them."
Okay.
Sick.
And you notice he, like, after he says that, he kind of like dips back a little bit and stands behind Sorshe.
He's like,
Bill, do it.
do this.
He's doing.
Oh god. Okay.
I love that.
We're gonna sneakily put the letter. Is she laying on her tummy?
I want to wake her up.
She's like on her side. You know how like when you'd fall asleep during study hall?
Yeah.
On the couch. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember the couch?
Oh my god.
Like that. Like
oh, like in the fetal position.
Yeah, like just
Oh.
she's like on her side. There's like
Okay.
a nice like polar bear fur, blanket, and there's like the
That's
fire
not
and it's warm. And
Um,
so if you want, you could stealth over there, but the key is that to keep them in your spell
Yeah.
range, they have to come at least halfway with you.
No,
That's
we need her to wake up and then hand her the letter.
All right, well, tell me what you want to
Are
do.
we
Why?
okay? Why are we?
Then we don't know her answer.
Why are we? She's gonna
Yeah.
reach out to us. That's the whole. The letter says, "Contact me here at this email." It's fine.
Dude,
In the
if she
letter-
wakes up with strangers in her chambers, she is not gonna be cool with it.
That's
She's
the whole
gonna
point
get
of the
her
letter.
guards. That's
That's
why we
literally-
wrote the letter. Like, why
That's the
would we
whole
talk
point
to
of
her?
the letter.
But then how
Yes.
would we get an answer?
She's gonna find us. It's fine. We gave her.
The reason I
It's
brought up
not
the letter in the first place is I
like
thought
we
the
can.
Duke was going to give it to her, but then he refused to give it to her. So we're like, okay. So we put like all the thing there. but we
Reagan,
didn't
if we
answer.
waste time talking to her, we are wasting time now. Then we're not going to be able to get out of here, and we're going to die. And what good is talking to her anyway?
It doesn't. All the important stuff is in the letter. Anyway, we go over as a group, upwards 15 feet, because she's like what 30? Is she like 30 feet away or something?
Yep.
Okay, there we go 15 feet.
By
and
the
then
way, I forgot to mention, you do notice a set of stairs across the room from you that go up to the 5th floor.
Okay.
That might be
Oh.
important or not.
Fourth
I don't know.
floor.
So
Wait. That might be where like the thing is. So let's leave the letter and then go up there and go steal it.
maybe I shouldn't have said that.
We
Yeah,
can
no,
go
no. We're not. There's no purpose to go up there. There's.
Really? Because if we take it and she realizes it's missing, but she has the letter, she'll be like, it's okay. Like,
Okay, we don't want the wind goddess
I don't want to rob
blow
her.
tornadoes on us.
Rob her.
Like,
Okay. Anyway, yeah, 15 feet, and then I do the little SpongeBob tiptoe, and then
Okay.
put the letter on her person.
You stealth over with a ridiculous 32, and you, as you get close enough, there's like, there's like a little coffee table made of like white oak, and you set it
White
down on the table, and you look at her for a moment.
Is she gorgeous?
She is the most beautiful creature you've ever seen.
Ugh.
Like, so she has very fine, like elvish features, but she doesn't have pointed ears. And her white hair is not like old lady white. It's just white.
Yeah.
And it cascades down onto her. And you notice, like, now that you're this close, like she's naked underneath the blanket.
Great.
You set the letter down, you like look over at her, and you start to stealth back. And you're certain, by the way, that like this might be the stealthiest you've ever been in your life. And as you're stealthing back, like you like look back over your shoulder, and you notice she goes like this.
Oh no. Oh.
She opens one eye, and you see her, and she sees you.
I don't know what to do. Like, we're good people.
Is the Duke in the room?
Yeah, he's like behind Sorshe.
I'm
Nah.
getting like real.
I
embarrassed.
am gonna nudge him up because he is our key to safety. Because they may not get along, but she's not gonna kill him or us.
I'm actually embarrassed right now. Like, I'm so.
You nudge him up, and he doesn't say anything, but he kind of gives you the look that like a middle school boy would give his mom if she were like, go ask that girl to dance. Like, he's like, oh, what? God. But then he moves up, and so you see she sits up slowly, and she like pulls the blanket around her, and she sits up, and she's looking at Woe, and then she kind of looks over her shoulder at the rest of you, and she smiles, and she's like, welcome.
Oh,
She's
I'm
like,
blushing.
come sit.
No,
And
we
she
have to
points
go.
she points to the upholstered furniture
That's
around
all
you.
I'm saying.
No, we're safe now. Because if she's cool with us, that means the Giants have to be cool with us, right?
They're keeping her there.
She points to the furniture around her, like that's in a U shape around the fire, and she's like, come sit. So,
Okay, we come sit.
okay.
For like I tell her we're in a rush, lady. Like, we gotta keep put.
So she's like, shh. When you all sit, she looks at Sharsane, and she's like, Sharsane, I'm surprised to see you here.
Oh my god.
Sharsane is like, hello, Ven. It has been a long time. You are as perfect as you have always been. She smiles and nods. She looks down at the coffee table and sees the letter, and she picks it up and unfolds it and begins reading it quietly to herself. And after a few moments, she nods. She sets the letter back down on the table. She's like, so, and you notice she looks at Mantra, and she's like, tell me why.
She's not here.
Why do you wish to use the artifact? She looks at all of you. She's like, why do you need the breath of Ven? Why do you wish to use the artifact?
We need to open the portal to Arrakazine.
She looks, when you say that, she looks at Sharsane, and she's like, for him?
Perhaps.
For like everyone
For
that's stuck here.
lots of people. I feel like she's coked out.
She looks at Sharsane, and she says, Vokos kati aratash nati amutukos arakazin. And Sharsane kind of like blushes, and he looks down, and then he looks back at her, and he nods. You would collect all of the crystals and activate the artifact to help Sharsane return home.
Yeah.
But when you speak of others, what others do you speak of?
Well, yeah, Ugo, Ugue, Ugo.
Unak?
Unak. Big boy.
She looks at Sharsane. Sharsane responds to her. Unak wakishkana ta arakazin nizak. And she seems surprised by whatever he said. She's like, really?
I feel like I know what they're saying.
She says, and again, she looks back at Mantra. She goes, you know that others seek to use the artifact as well, do you not?
All for common goal, correct?
Oh.
Do they have
no.
I don't know.
Who are you talking about? Because I have a team that I'm a part of that we split up and we're currently on separate missions trying to find them.
And which Finoop does your team serve? She smiles.
The Duke? Question mark.
No. Isn't he the Elvish one?
No. So meta moment, the gentleman Finoop is the one that looks human with fair skin and black curly hair.
But Eternal Finoop, right?
The blonde elf Finoop,
Yeah.
who you also saw, used the name Lord Finoop. And the last time you saw both of those people is when you had a showdown with them in a hotel in Kadimki Kala, and Olin hit them both with his magical scythe, and they disappeared.
I have such a funky feeling about Olin. I feel like there's some something underneath there.
She says, Mantra, you are telling me the truth.
Yeah.
You wish to help those who would return to Arakazine. But did you know that your artifact that you carry with you now, and she looks, by the way, at your backpack, like as if she could see through you. She's like, do you know that the artifact that you carry now can also be used for other purposes? It can be used to create and also to destroy. There are some who would seek to use it to destroy our continent.
Well, how do we stop it from happening but still help?
She says, well, do you feel that you all are good judges of character?
Yeah.
Perhaps you can help me decide. Come. She stands up and she just lets the blanket fall off, and now all of you are in awe at the most perfect physical form that you've ever seen. She walks over to her wardrobe and grabs like a silk, like a white silk robe that she puts on. And after she gets dressed, she turns around towards you and she starts walking towards the stairs that go up to the 5th floor. And she's like, come, let us determine what should be done. So she walks, and do you guys follow her?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You guys ascend the stairs, and the stairs up to the 5th floor stop at a trap door, which she looks up at and raises her hand, and the door glows briefly, and then it opens. Actually, it doesn't open, it just disappears, and there's an opening now. She walks up there, and you guys follow her, and you are at the top of the tower. The top of the tower is almost the same as the 1st floor. It's empty, with the exception of columns that hold up the roof of the tower. And there's a magical orb of light, a single source of light in the middle. You notice that chained to two of the columns are two people. On one column, Mantra, you see the gentleman Finoop, the fair-skinned human with dark curly hair. And he is chained by his hands and his feet to a column, and he's covered in blankets and he's kind of shivering. Across from him, on another column, equally chained and blanketed, is the blonde elf that you were introduced as Lord Finoop.
She has both Finoops? Holy crap.
She walks over towards them and she beckons for you guys to follow. She waves her hand and 5 chairs appear. And she sits down in one of them and asks for you all to sit.
I'm not sitting down. I'm just going to keep standing.
Okay.
I sit down. Out of respect.
What do you do, Sorshe?
I'm gonna just do the same as Beth.
Okay. You, Sharsane also sits down, but you notice something. Those of you with insight, you notice that Sharsane seems very nervous when he sees the blonde elf. You notice the blonde elf is very weary and he kind of like looks up at all of you and he looks at them and then he sees Sharsane and you notice his eyes pop open wide.
Is he his long lost brother? Shit.
And you notice Lord Finoop look at Sharsane and he starts speaking in their native tongue.
Finoop's evil, right? The older brother, he had him like caged for like
because
mountain. Yeah, so I say human Finoop with the black curly hair. That's our man.
He looks to you guys, and the gentleman Finoop looks up and he sees you, Mantra, and he's like, "Oh, at last."
Okay, so he has like some sense of like relief, while other Finoop is like clearly like, shit, what have I got myself into?
Yes. Now the blonde elf, Lord Finoop, begins speaking to Sharsane in their native tongue. Sharsane listens and then he nods and he responds in their native tongue as well. Vem holds up her hand and she's like, and everybody quiets down. She looks to you, Mantra, and she says, "So, which one of these do you serve?"
I point to the black-haired one.
She nods. And she says, he seeks to return home. Yes?
I believe so.
And then she looks to the blonde elf, Lord Finoop, and she says, "And what do you seek, Tertingi? Why do you seek the artifact after all of these years?" And the blonde elf responds in the common tongue that you guys can understand. "I would seek to preserve New Wolf Otmai and stop him and his kind from destroying it. If they were to open the portal to Arakazine, this place would fall, as would you, Vem.
Why?
You know this. You know this to be true."
How'd they get here in the first place?
Do you ask that?
Well, yeah, those portals didn't destroy New Otmai before.
Fem nods and she's like, "Well, a good question, Sorshe. Answer her question, Tertingi." The blonde elf looks, he kind of glares at Sorshe and he's like, "Perhaps a portal could be opened. Perhaps one or two of them could return to Arakazine. But what would happen while it is opened? If the balance were disrupted, or if something else came through from Marakazine, it could spell the very doom of our continent.
I don't know, man.
The gentleman Finoop looks up at this and he's like, that is a lie. He's like, that is a lie that you have told for thousands of years.
Yeah,
No one, he goes, no one truly knows what would happen if we went through the portal. But one thing is for certain, we could return. We could return to Arakazine.
Yeah, I agree with him. Because, like, this guy, he's a king here. Why would he want to leave? He's been in charge forever. He can say anything.
Right. I feel like if the portal is open, some of his power gets taken away. And that's why he's trying to... Because what does black-haired Finoop really gain from it besides getting to go home?
Vem nods and she's like, yes, a good point as well. Tell me, Tertingi, what if your brother could go home? Would you stay here and continue on, allowing your brother to return to Arakazine?
Why
The
not?
blonde elf is like, you know that is not my wish. My brother should stay here. I had to entomb him to stop him from making this foolish mistake. As much as his desire is strong to return home, we do not know what havoc, what chaos it could cause if we open the portals. There's a reason why we hid them. There's a reason why no one has used the artifact. Am I the only one who remembers what happened last time? And he looks to Vem, and he looks to the gentleman Finoop, and he looks to Sharsane.
Well, what happened?
The blonde elf looks at you and he says, there is a reason why New Wolf Otmai, this continent that we are on now, exists. Long, long ago, thousands of years ago, a very powerful wizard used the artifact to open up a portal. When he did, he unleashed hordes of demons, thousands of monsters and demons upon Arakazine. And it took the workings of gods to close that portal and separate that wizard and his minions from Arakazine. That sundering destroyed a huge portion of the continent. The gods reshaped it into the continent that you are now on. I would stop such a horrible atrocity from happening again. Even if it means that we are trapped here forever, I would not allow another portal to be opened. After he says this, the other Finoop, the gentleman Finoop, looks at him and he's like, yes, that's because Nezrak sought to bring those demons there. We simply seek to open up the portal to return home to Arakazine and nothing more. The blonde elf, who you guys know as Lord Finoop, but by his proper name is Tertingi Malakun. He responds and he says, and what if Arakazine is different now? What if when you open the portal to Arakazine, it is worse? It is full of demons and monsters. What then? What would you unleash upon this perfect paradise of a continent?
Nothing, bro. If they're going in, we'll close it as soon as they're gone. We're not going to keep it open.
Tertingi looks at you, Sorshe, and he's like, and who amongst you wields enough power to control the artifact?
Them.
Period.
Vem smiles and nods. She's like, yes, I do contain enough power to control the artifact. But I cannot. I cannot touch it.
Why?
Because it is part of the balance. Here, hand it to me.
No.
She says, you have nothing to fear. I literally can't touch it. Just watch what happens. She looks at you, Matra. She places her hands out as if you were going to put the artifact into her hands. She's like, try it. Go ahead. You'll see it won't even touch my skin. Do you get the artifact out?
Yeah. I try to do it. I want to see.
You hold the artifact over her hands, and as soon as you like get it close to her hands, you feel this force pushing it away. Almost like when you have magnets of like polarities and it pushing away. There's like a force. There's no glow, nothing like that, but there's just like a force. Like you like
negative and positive batteries.
Yeah, like you like drop it into her hands and it just floats above her hands, like magically floating. She's like, I cannot touch it.
She's the wind goddess, so maybe she's like just pulling some tricks.
But why though? Like, why can't you? Why?
Maybe she wants to jump in the
No,
portal.
I'm asking them. I am asking them. Why can't? Why?
We each of the gods and goddesses, we have dominion over our elements, but we cannot interact with the god crystals or stones of the other gods. It's a matter of cosmic balance.
So whose is the artifact? I thought it was kind of just a miscellaneous.
The artifact resides within the power of Taik, because Taik is balance personified. They are neither existing or typifying any of the elements. They are the void. And therefore only Taik can control the artifact, because Taik has no elemental tie.
Well,
It would require Taik is the divinity of the void.
Where is that man?
Taik is not a man or a woman. Taik is genderless. And Taik does not exist in a physical form that any of you could comprehend. There are some followers of Taik who might be powerful enough to wield the artifact. And she looks over at the gentleman Finoop. That is one such follower of Taik. He could operate the artifact. But the question is, should he? Having heard now from both Chertingi and this Finoop, what would you have me do?
Pause. So who, I got mixed up with the people that were arguing against opening the portal. That was Finoop. That was the gentleman.
So Lord Finoop, the blonde elf, is against opening the portal.
Yeah.
Your Finoop is for opening the portal.
Is he powerful? Is he the one that's powerful enough to wield the artifact?
No,
That's what she said. She said that he's powerful enough to use the artifact.
Okay. So what are the reasons for not letting him wield the artifact? If he wants to open the portal and he's powerful enough, why shouldn't he?
That's basically what Vem has asked you to consider. Do you want...
Abby just left.
Oh, Abby just bounced. I wonder if she got cut off because she hasn't said anything. So that's what Vem's basically asking you guys to weigh in on, is whether or not you think Chertingi Malakuni is right and that the artifact shouldn't be used, or whether you think that it could be used carefully to open a portal to let those who would want to go home.
I think it should be used. I think it should. That's just me. Maybe I don't know enough, but I think it should.
And what say you, Mantra?
I think we should still keep trying to open it.
Well, then you will need to collect all of the sacred stones. I can only give you mine, but you will need to find the others. Each of those 4 elemental stones must harness the power that will feed the artifact. And the black orb will be the catalyst for the magic that opens the portal. This means that you will need the breath of Vem, the fang of Ayuk, the tear of Deepa, and the milk of Vusek.
I should take notes. Does she want to repeat that?
The breath of Vem,
Yeah.
the fang of Ayuk, the tear of Deepa, and the milk of Vusek.
Got it.
She looks at Sharsane one more time and she says, I do not know if you or your brother are right, but I suppose we will see. Sharsane nods. Thank you, Vem. She puts her hands up like this and then she goes, and when she blows over her empty hands, a white crystal appears. She holds it up and she hands it to you, Mantra. And you see, as you hold it, that it looks like it would exactly fit into one of the 4 elemental slots on the artifact.
Oh my gosh.
She says, guard it carefully.
I'm gonna swallow it.
No, seriously, don't do that. She's like, now, as for these 2, if I free them, you understand that you will immediately be in conflict because Tertingi does not wish for you to proceed.
Yeah, don't free him.
But if I've given you the breath, I must free them. Now, I can give you a head start, of course, but just know that...
Be on the run.
Just know that once I free them, everything that happens will be up to you.
Wait, here's a thought. This might be a dumb thought, but thinking. What if you hold on to the breath, keep them locked up, and then once we have all the other crystals, we come back and get the breath?
I thought about doing that. The problem is that there are others who serve Tertingi. They have already acquired another one of the crystals. I know this because several of them tried to reach out to him magically, and I sent them a message to let them know that he would not be joining them anytime soon.
Okay, but you're not going to give them the breath, so they can't...
This is true.
And if we do have the breath and then they attack us, they could steal it from us, right?
I suppose they could.
So I think that
nobody's stolen the artifact from us, so.
Not yet.
Well, I think our best bet is just to take the breath and put it in the thingy.
She smiles, and you notice that she looks at Tertingi and Sharsane. And she says, do you not remember when we were young? Do you remember our adventures? They remind me of us when we were young. And you see Tertingi, he kind of like lacks emotion regarding this statement. He kind of like looks away. But Sharsane smiles a little bit and he nods and he's like, yes, they do. I believe their hearts are pure. Most of the time. He looks at Sorshe. He's like, most of the time, they are good. I thank you, Vem. And he bows. She nods. She says, well, it is almost time for supper. Do you care to join us before you descend the mountain and return to your friends?
Sure.
You'll find our food and comfort is much better than camping on the side of the mountain with an army of goblins. She smiles.
Abby is like, I mean, Tetra is just like chilling.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah, Abby's phone died, by the way.
But you notice that upon her comment that Vem seems to be fully aware of the fact that there's an army of goblins.
Yeah. Well, that's what I got from.
Oh, speaking of them, they think you're their mother, and they kind of want to like have you reclaim the mountain for them.
She smiles and she's like, goblins are such simple creatures, but they are very loyal. She's like, I will send them a gift. Come, let us go have some supper, and then I will help you back down the mountain.
Okay.
So you walk with her, you go back to that mess hall, and now you notice when you get to the third floor mess hall, or there's like 20 priestesses who are all at these tables, and Vem walks in, and you guys all walk in, and they all stand. She leads you to a table to sit with her. They say a prayer, and then like the food is served. You guys have this meal with Vem. You can ask any number of questions during the meal, but let's just to keep it succinct, let's say each of you can ask one question. You are in the presence of a goddess, so think carefully about the questions that you would ask.
What's your skincare routine?
Do you think it has to concern like our mission, or can I just truly ask her like?
Do you have to poop?
You can ask anything.
Do you like get rid of like stuff in your body? Like, do you poop?
She's like, I no longer need food or anything. She's like, I am a goddess now, but I did. She's like, I once was human.
Skinny queen.
You know that, don't you? She's like, I was once human in Arakazine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so was Sharsane, and so was Tertingi. At least we appeared as humans.
Oh.
In truth, we descend from divine creatures, what you might think of as angels.
Oh.
Your friend Olin, he is descendant from one of the three angels, one of the three types of angels. We are descendant from a different type. But we appeared as humans, and we lived as mortals. We ate food, we drank, we could be killed, all of those things. But when New Wolfotmai was made by the gods, I was one of the primogenitors who was chosen to be a deity.
Okay, what was the physical and mental transformation like? Like, was it all in a split second? Like, did you just become?
No, it was horrifically painful.
Oh, okay. Describe.
My physical body was completely disintegrated. My soul was then put into this form that you see.
Ooh, your body was disintegrated?
Yes.
Sounds awful.
How long did it take?
I can never go back to Arakazine. This form that you see and the power of a goddess had a price, and that price is that I can never go back to a Rakazine. Sharsane could go back, though what will happen remains to be seen. For if he does return, he will not appear as an elf. That body that you know him as, and she looks over at Sharsane, who's like eating at the table with you. She's like, that body that you know and see will not be the same if he returns to a Rakazine. There are nothing of that kind on a Rakazine.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Like, we're not going to go with him, so.
She looks at all of you, actually, and she says, do you intend to go to a Rakazine?
No.
I don't know.
I might. Who knows? I'll think about it.
She says, if you were to go to a Rakazine, it would be curious what would happen. I do not know. Would you be destroyed upon entering the temple and disintegrated?
I hope so. That'd be fun.
Would you transform? She goes, there are no half-orcs in a Rakazine, just as there are no tieflings. She looks at Woe and she goes, there are humans.
It sounds like this place isn't just another continent, but like another like world.
Yeah, another dimension. That's why there's a portal.
Yeah, because like
in a matter of speaking, it is. Where we are now is indirectly attached, but also detached. There is no way to go from New Ophotmai to anywhere else in the world of Kakapulan without using that artifact. There are some of the primogenitors who still live, who are immortal, as is Tertingi, who would seek to not use the artifact, who would prevent it from being used. So know that when you leave here, you may face more opposition than just Tertingi.
I still think that we should just come back for the breath and keep him locked up.
I cannot do that. I do not have the power to keep them both here indefinitely. Taik would not allow it because Taik seeks balance. If there is too much chaos, Taik pushes towards lawfulness and order. If the order is too rigid and stagnant, Taik serves chaos. Taik maintains the balance. That is why they are of the void.
That's okay. We understand.
After your dinner, she walks you guys down to the main level. And she walks to that huge portal. And you see the two giants standing outside. And she pushes her hand like this. And they like walk away. She walks out into the cold with you, but as you guys are walking with her, it's warm. Like you're in a globe of warmth as you walk with her. And she walks a couple hundred yards barefoot with you through the snow over to kind of the edge of the mountain that descends into the fog. And she says, I will return you now to your friends and the goblins, and I will give a gift to the goblins so that they know that you have kept your word.
Thank you.
Good luck, my friends. I hope that you do the right thing. And she turns to Sharsane and gives him a hug. And you notice when she hugs him, Sharsane begins like crying.
Oh.
And then she whispers something in his ear and he nods. And then she steps back and she looks at all of you and she says, travel well. And when she waves her hands, a bright light encompasses your entire area. And when it fades, you guys find yourselves on the ledge, and you see Tetra and the goblins. And they see you guys appear from this bright ball of light. Sorshe, in your hands, where there wasn't anything in your hands before, you find a root, what looks like a root, and a small little plant. Like you're holding like the bulb, the root bulb, and a little plant. And when the bright light fades, you're holding this thing. The goblin leader comes over to you and he's like, the mother has spoken. She bears the gift from the mother. Oh. And then all the goblins begin like chattering and muttering amongst themselves, and they fall to their knees and they begin like praying and chattering. And like he comes up and he kneels before you and he goes, oh, the mother has spoken. And he's waiting for you to, you give it to him. He bows and he nods, and then they celebrate. And then that night, all the goblins basically just like say prayers and they celebrate. You guys get some sleep, and in the morning you begin descending the mountain. It takes the entire day to get down to the valley level. And once you do, you notice that the goblins begin leading you across the valley. When you get to this halfway point, you notice this mound of dirt. The captain goes up to the mound of dirt and then he sets this root bulb on top of the dirt and he covers it. And instantaneously, it begins growing. Like you see the roots start to grow into the earth, like, and this plant, this little tiny green plant begins to grow. And within 60 seconds, it has become a huge tree and it bears fruit. And the fruit looks very different from anything you've ever seen. It's like a red, it's like the size of a grapefruit, but it's red and it has spikes. And they begin circling, the goblins begin circling the tree and they're like chanting mother and they're praying to it and they're like bowing to it. And the leader of the goblins goes up to Tetra and falls to his knees and he's like, we are eternally grateful that you brought us the blessings of the mother. We will forever be in your debt. Should you ever need to call upon us, we will be here in the valley. And he bows several times.
Wow.
And with that, you consider, where do you go next?
Well, we should go meet up with the people who are fighting the earth thing, right? Because we have the fire, the breath, and the actual artifact. We just need.
Do you have fire?
You don't have the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't.
Olin has the void crystal, the orb.
You said that we had one of the crystals and the artifact.
Yeah, you have the wind. You have the breath of Vem, which is the wind crystal. No, you have. You guys had the black orb. So Olin has the black orb. That's one of the 5 things. Now you have the breath of Vem, and you have the artifact, which makes it all work together. So the question is where do you want to go next? Do you want to return to like Deso Tara to meet up with Zara? Do you want to go back to civilization? Do you want to go east to the blessed domain of Parmia?
Well, yeah,
I want to go back to civilization.
So, and along the way, once you guys get around the mountain, you'll be able to meet at the plateau in the Verge where Unak is waiting at your camp.
Can we go back to civilization or no?
You can. So you begin discussing what you're going to do. You guys travel again, and it takes another day of traveling around the mountain and through foothills into the Verge. And you arrive back at the valley where you see that Unak has made a nice camp. You see your horses are there. You return. Unak is very pleased to see you, although he doesn't show a tremendous amount of emotion. And you guys kind of get to your camp. You rest. You take a long rest. having traveled through mountains. And in the morning, you pack up your camp, you get on your horses, and you begin to travel to where? We shall find out on the next episode of the Vixens. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, supporting. Don't forget to tune in. Over the summer, we'll be doing some more adventures with the Vixens. Find out where they will go next. Until then, stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. Take us away, Krava.